Tim's resetting everything before he leaves to be like, dude, we got the full gamut now. Go fuck yourself, everybody. Microsoft and Google, even though we totally have partnerships in other ways, but like, we're going to knock this market out of the park.
I mean, it's not just Apple, though. It's technology as a whole is really deflationary. I mean, you look at the cost of, let's say, a big screen TV. You can get a 80, 90-inch TV for a few $100. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's an interesting comparison.
Back in the day, a huge 30-inch CRT was beat like $5,000. Namaste to all the neural network navigators out there. We have another episode of the Geekoid podcast dropping in rapid succession. This is episode 52. 51 was featuring all of the content and products that Apple just dropped in the past week. So check that out if you are an Apple fanboy and want to learn our opinions on it. I'm still probably going to pull a trigger on that MacBook Neo and take it for a test spin and kind of publish my thoughts. It's been contentious. The internet is either in love with it or they think 8 gigabytes of RAM is a joke. But we'll put it through the paces and find out.
I think what we talked about in the last episode, because it was yesterday for us, which is perfect, because I can remember that far. I think it'd be totally fine. Everything we talked about, especially at the end, where it was our thoughts and our feelings and how we've changed in big bad, I want the best of the best, to like, hey man, this will do more than enough. And I think Apple keeps proving that, like, actually, I don't know how they stay around, actually, because I was thinking about this just before we got on. Their products are so good at the base level that I chose an Air over a Pro. And I've seen other content creators doing some crazy stuff with an Air. So yeah, I will totally save probably $1,000 or $500. Thanks, Apple, for being too good. And I think the Neo is going to do the same thing. I think it's going to surprise people in what the capabilities can do.
Yeah. So it's I think Apple's got an incredible lineup. The way they've architected their chips are really putting them in a good position for this wave of AI currently. So we'll see how it plays out in the next few months and into the summer.
Do you remember when they said we're going to go all ARM, and all of us went,
the fuck?
What are you talking about?
That was DAFUK, Mom, not the actual F word. So
yeah. I love that Susan's she's our guys,
the adult police.
She's the parental control on Geekoid.
So yeah. But let's dig into what else we have, because I mean, this is not a quiet week. I mean, Apple was beating their drum, but everyone else couldn't help but just jump in and make this just a roarous news cycle.
We have to start with AI and Anthropic, because even more news came out with Anthropic of just more details and more like what with the administration. Thanks, administration.
In case
you give us stories.
In case you missed it, Anthropic basically asked the DoD, "Hey, did you use our technology in the strike on Venezuela?" And this happened a while ago. And now with everything...
Not that long ago.
No, not that long ago, true. But now with everything that's happening in Iran, Anthropic's like, we don't feel comfortable with the way you're using our technology or the way we're alleging that you use our technology, because I don't think they have that clear insight into the way the Department of Defense or Department of War is using said technology.
Yeah, I think they were feeling a little like creeped out. They're like, oh, okay, no.
Yeah. So what has transpired over the last week is the Department of War has said they're going to stop using Claude, all the Claude models, which is all Anthropic models, I should say. And they are signing a deal with Sam Altman's OpenAI to use ChatGPT models. But it doesn't stop there. They have issued a supply chain risk notification for Anthropic. That means that everyone who does business with...
I feel like they were like, oh, you don't like what we're doing? Well, then fuck you.
Mom, that was an FUCK one, so sorry.
It was 2 C's.
So this is really pretty impactful. So the $200 million contract that Anthropic had with the government, pretty paltry if you look at how much their revenue has increased over the last 3 months. They are now the fastest growing company ever, which is kind of mind-blowing.
Anthropic is?
Yeah. They increased their annual revenue run rate by $6 billion in, I think, the last 90 days.
That is crazy, stupid fast. Where do all these people come from to go, oh my God, I want to give you money?
I can raise my hand and say I am one of those people. Because
I signed up.
Well, yeah.
You're such a small portion. I would love to see a poll that's like, there were 20,000 of you.
So here's the thing. OpenClaw has, when it initially rolled out, like using Claude Opus 4.6 was like the go-to model. And it's kind of really, I'm sure it was a jumping board. That's what you call those things over the swimming pool? Diving board.
Yes, their fucking titles are so bad, dude. Claude, duh. You got to make sure, because it sounds like Clawbot, and it's not. It's Claude Bot. And then Open Claw. Anyway.
Yeah. So I'm sure they gained a huge amount of subscribers. But here's the thing. I think it's 80% of Anthropic's revenue is enterprise. So
Did we help with this? We were like, oh, we built a wolf claw.
I mean, Anyway, Anthropic's majority of revenue comes from the enterprise, whereas OpenAI is predominantly just general populace users, people who are signing up for the $20 a month ChatGPT. So it's a tale of two very different cities.
Apple is still using chat on my MacBook. Chat is still, actually, it's an option right now. However, side note, I do Safari, and then Safari is part of Google. It's like balancing the two, and I go, I'll just ask Google, like Gemini.
Yeah. So I don't think Anthropic is going to find themselves in a bad place, but it's just interesting to see how this is all playing out in real time. And Sam Altman and OpenAI were so eager to jump in there and be like, yes, we will absolutely help you, Department of War. And then apparently the past few days, like Sam Altman has been like, but we do have some conditions. So he's trying to rework the signing of this deal kind of retroactively as it's happened. And I feel like he's been caught in a weird place because I'm sure
it's a ton of money. They probably just said like, we're going to give you this. And he was like, yes. And then everybody went, hey, you remember Venezuela and Iran, and then maybe the current administration, and also war and people? And he's like,
boom booms.
And everybody else is like, I don't like this idea. And he goes, I like the money. And they're like, not.
So here's the thing. Regardless of how practical Sam Altman is, all of these headquarters are all headquartered in San Francisco, which is like the most liberal nexus that you can find on the planet.
That's pretty true.
So yeah. I'm sure there's some number of employees who are not happy. And that was really happening in real time after all these announcements were coming up. Like people were dropping ChatGPT and fleeing to Anthropic and to Claude. Like subscribers just migrated from one to another. And I think that goes
think about the last 3 generations too. You've got, Gen A is not in there. Well, I mean, I guess they are in a weird way. They're like 15 years old, but you've got Z and millennial, they are not. They are very digital, and they are very like pro egalitarian. I don't know. They're very political in their own way, and their political is digital. You are gonna do something cray cray, they will move way. My wife has done it to brands
That is
numerous
the
times.
best soundbite I think we'll ever have.
Thank you. I was very proud of that as I said it out loud, but I was trying to keep talking. Quit interrupting me. Yeah, no. If you do something digital that is fugly, these kids are going to move drastically. And it's all internet and social. Like, your whole world, I'm looking at it on the screen. Like, your whole world is the screen that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Nope.
And all this whole time, Elon's grok is they're just like, oh yeah, we'll work with the DoD.
yeah. Well, everybody knows that.
Yeah. So I did get access to the Grok 4.2 beta yesterday, so I will be taking that for a spin.
After he was like, "I love you so much," and then, "Oh, you don't like me? Well, I don't like you." And then he's like,
"Kissy, kissy."
You wanna do a deal? That every generation knows. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So amidst
like a bad cologne.
Amidst all this kerfluffle, Gemini came out and dropped a new 3.1 Flash. Anthropic released something. I can't remember what anymore. We have the
shame on you.
Yeah, Grok 4.2 beta.
You're my AI fucking guru.
And then OpenAI just dropped ChatGPT 5.4 in the last 24 hours, which is doing gangbusters in terms of performance and agreeability. And you know what? People are saying, yeah, just switch from Claude to ChatGPT now. It's all good. So,
oh my God,
it is. Everything is just happening so quickly, and
it's like every week. It's like, go here. No, go here. Right. No, now go here.
It's a little hard. Like I'm in it, and I'm using this stuff every day, almost all day, every day.
As someone who doesn't, so like, here's my little poll of like, you're in it. Because build resume and keep building whatever and all your knowledge. But for me, and I said earlier, so the MacBook has, I see it right now. There's a little icon for the colorful rainbow Siri, and that's part of Chat. I don't use Chat. I will actually open up Safari, which I already have opened up. And I know Safari is part of Google, and then Google has Gemini integrated into it. And I just use Gemini almost every day. And then I just keep asking it questions, and it goes, cool. Oh, you hit your limit. You can't do that. No, Gemini just keeps bringing me stuff. So right now, the partnership with Apple, yes, I am a sheep. I like Apple. But also, they've built such a great partnership that I just use Google. Also, I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, it's old. It hasn't been updated, but like, I'm on YouTube all the time. And yes, folks, you will get a video one day if I leave this flat state. Otherwise, content won't be great. But
look, there's a horizon line.
Yeah, I would like to not see a horizon line. Actually, I'd like to. Oh, anyway. Google's Chrome was always the first browser I always downloaded onto any PC. Like, so I think my affinity to Google is stronger than using any of the other chats, Open or any Claude or Claw, same company, or definitely not Gronk. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Elon, you're so weird, dude. You're so weird. Michael Jackson wasn't as weird as you.
Well, let's not get ourselves kicked off of X. That is a platform for growth for us. We don't
at least for you. I'm not on X,
No,
so I'm
I
glad
mean,
you
Geekoid
share
the
those with
podcast.
me.
We have one follower on X, and it's me.
One follower. That should show you something. That should show you also what these generations are like. X is weird, man.
Yeah, okay. So maybe that was a counterpoint. But so here's the thing. Google is positioned extremely well. So Anthropic has rolled out their Claude Cowork and their Claude Code, and those have been just incredibly fast-growing products for them. But here's the thing: Google and
Wait a
OpenAI.
minute. Did you just say Google and Claude? Like, are you talking Google is doing new stuff, or are you talking two separate companies? The way you said it, it sounded the same.
So Anthropic has been doing a lot of stuff with Claude, specifically Claude Cowork and Claude Code. Like those are the two new products that are just doing really well. And I was transitioning.
What are the differences for somebody like me who doesn't know, which is probably the rest of our audience? What are the differences between those two?
So Claude Code is just another coding tool that people can use to build websites or applications, and you tell it what to build and it'll just go and it'll build you the thing. Claude Cowork, on the other hand, is something you install on your desktop and you talk to it, and it will just look at your files on your desktop and kind of help you do work. So it's Claude Code, but for people who are not technical, if you will.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah. So it's been doing really well. Google just rolled out an expansion of Gemini to their Google Workspaces. So basically, they now have a competitor to Claude Cowork, and it's just natively built into the entire Google suite. So I've just started playing with it. I can't really talk about my experience yet, but I'm sure we'll be able to next week. I just spun up an entirely new Google Workspace. So I will let you know how it goes.
I'm not going to lie. Like the year and a half I worked with a startup and we used Google instead of Microsoft. I'm assuming you still have to pay a certain amount of fee for using, I think it's called Workspace or whatever.
Yeah, the Google Workspace
has.
account.
And you have to pay then for extra, subscribers, users, whatever, like you would in Microsoft. I loved everything Google Workspace had compared to Microsoft. And
it is so much better. I can't tell you, as someone who has lived with a foot in each world.
Yeah, me too. I've done most in Microsoft Teams because I feel like everybody goes to Microsoft because it's Microsoft. It's been there forever. That's what you know.
It's a corporate stalwart.
Yeah, it is the culprit.
It's also a culprit.
It's also a culprit. It's the corporate stalwart. But like Workspace is really, really good.
Yeah. And it is maturing week after week and really becoming a true competitor. I think right now you just have two. It's either Microsoft 365 Office Suite or it's Google Workspace. And those are like, if you're running a business, it's one or the other. I don't know how else you would run a business, honestly. So it'll be interesting to see how that all evolves. Because you look at Microsoft and they have Microsoft Copilot. Which is just a bumbling idiot.
Really, that has been screwing them up so bad. Like, I keep getting articles and YouTube videos of like, well, they did it again and it's not good. They did it again and it's not good. I'm like, what are you guys doing over there? You guys are one of the longest running companies for tech and hardware and software. And you guys we all make fun of Apple, and you guys also can't do AI for shit. And due to that, you're messing all the other stuff up. So you're just giving Apple like this free pass. I see more polls coming up where people are like, yeah, I'm done. I just shift. Mac OS, sayonara, Windows. Like, can nobody get the AI right except for these like private companies other than Google?
Here's my prediction is that Microsoft will eventually get better. Because, I mean, here's the thing. They'll just use the AI. They'll be like, hey, AI, look what Anthropic and Google are doing. Make our products more like that. And the AI will be like, okay.
They need to really start doing that really soon.
And it'll happen.
That was an easy answer for Microsoft. It was almost like we were Microsoft sheep. And we also are. Like, dude, my 3 top companies are Google, Apple, and Microsoft. Like,
I'm running Windows on this machine. I'm running Windows on the machine over there on the floor where my Ice Claw lives.
And then Google is in all of those.
Yeah.
So, and then within me, I have iPhone, iPad, MacBook, watch. Yeah, okay. I'm totally.
All right. So the takeaway is AI stuff happens on a weekly basis. Tune in next week to see what else happens.
I think the DoD was like, hey, don't discount anything that we've been talking about. The DoD thing was a big deal. And the fact that like the administration decided like, oh, you don't like us? Well, then poo-poo on you. I would like to, for us to keep seeing what happens with then OpenAI, with them going, yeah, and then going, actually, wait a minute. So I'd like to see what next steps are on that.
Yeah. So there are a lot of nuances to everything that has been going on with all of this.
Absolutely.
So Dario, the CEO of Anthropic, his stance has been like, we do not feel comfortable that we can trust these models in the ways that you want to use them. And that's a valid stance. And if you don't want to do business with the DoD or DOW, like that's your prerogative.
I think too, there was like, I think I'm assuming on this one could be many other factors, but also like maybe we don't like our system being used in that way that might be happening over the last couple months. So that's not wrong. It's just not it's not what DoD needs right now.
So I think the philosophy that I subscribe to and that I've heard a lot of people talk about on podcasts is that you develop a tool, you want to sell it to the Department of War or the government or whatever. You're selling them a tool. They should be allowed to use that tool.
You are correct.
In any way that is legal.
Yeah. You're talking to the people that are going to hit a red button somewhere. So, like, you kind of know, like, yeah, we'll totally take it. And you're like, okay, well, if you accept, this is their job. That's their job. So you are absolutely correct.
And it's funny to me. So I was listening to another podcast where they were talking about like there's 20 people in a room with Dario, the CEO of Anthropic, and they were having conversations about certain edge cases and scenarios where the AI could or could not be used. And they had drafted up like 20 pages of exceptions and whatnot. And one of the undersecretaries to the Secretary of War was like posited a situation, like a theoretical. And Dario said, okay, just in that case, just give me a call. And I'm like, if there is a nuclear strike about to happen on the United States, we don't have time to call you for an exception that we didn't think of 6 months in advance. Like the space is moving so rapidly. We need to be able to use the tools at a moment's notice. So the fact that he said that is just comical.
Well, I think what it is that he realizes the true weight, which is like, God, man, almost like a kid. You have a kid who's running a company, and he's not. But in this scenario,
he's a genius.
Like the gravity of what your program, what you've created can do to other people, he goes, oh, shit. And then it's like, okay. Whoa, call me. No. I'm sorry. That's not going to work.
Right.
But that's what a lot of other people are thinking of like, yeah, don't get involved. You know what it is. don't do it.
It's easy for us to say. I just want to wrap this up and say that these are incredibly complex situations, and we will never have all the details. So all we can do is theorize and make fun of people. So that's what we're gonna do. With that, do we want to take a 2-second intermission to refresh some things?
Well, you saw me walking into the
Well,
to the
yeah,
house.
and I'm empty, so I figured I'd need to go take a break myself.
Dude, this would be a cool time. Can you do like the whole 5 minutes later or the do 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 like elevator music?
Well, yeah, I'll totally put in some elevator music. All right, cool. I'll be right back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for bearing with us as we take a little bio break and refresh our cocktail.
Cocktail. Babada, babada, yeah. Oh, you lucky booby dooby doos.
All right. We're done talking about AI mostly. Just one other thing that just crossed my peripheral vision.
Hot off the digital press.
Yeah, Netflix has agreed to acquire Ben Affleck's AI company.
Oh, I saw that 2 days ago, Eric. Get with the times, dude. I didn't know if you want to talk about it or not because I didn't do any research.
No, well, first of all, I didn't know Ben Affleck had an AI company, and second
I
of all,
didn't either.
This really isn't that surprising considering
Him and Ben created a studio out east, but that I knew of. I did not realize that also Ben had some type of AI film studio.
I mean, the dude's got a lot of money. He's spending it around, just going giving it to all the startups, hoping that he'll return a 10x on his investment. I mean, that's what you do when you got a lot of money.
I mean, he's a true East Coast dude. Like he is scrappy, and now he's rich and scrappy. So no fault on that.
So we'll see where they go. I think we should transition next to. This is a perfect segue because Netflix has the cash because they are no longer buying Warner Brothers.
Yeah. And it's caused a bit of a debacle within Paramount. So Paramount really wanted Warner Brothers. They doubled the price or whatever to $110 billion, somewhere maybe $111 billion to acquire Warner Brothers. However, Guy Dance, who is originally one of, these kids, who's not a kid, he's a grown man, but we talk about how his dad is very close with the administration. So then this kid is. They have a pretty big debt as it is. And then Warner Brothers has a pretty sizable debt. And then a lot of analysts and stock people and boards and blah, 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 a lot of people that we have no idea about, equated then this potential buyout to a level within stock market that I did not know. And there are so many tiers, A's and B's and double B's and triple B's. And
you're talking about credit ratings for businesses.
Yeah, credit ratings.
In the same way that you and I have a FICO credit score that ranges from 350 to 850 or whatever, businesses have a credit score from A++
to B minus, I think.
Yes. And then if you're below that, God help you.
Yeah. And with this proposed deal that Netflix is like, all right, cool, you're out. And also, I think part of their deal was like they got paid like $2 to $7 million. So they're like, cool, thanks. This has dropped their credit to I think second to the lowest. Finch Ratings has downgraded Paramount's credit rating to a junk status of BP plus from a BBB minus, following the announcement of its proposed $110 to $111 billion acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery. This downgrade, I'm totally reading off of Gemini, this downgrade reflects significant risks associated with the deal, which is expected to create a heavily leveraged entity with negative cash flows projected for fiscal 2026. One of the videos I shared with Eric from John Campia. You guys should totally follow him. He is fantastic and has a lot of insider knowledge along with his co-host. Is if this is true and this keeps going, other companies or banks or studios will also be like, I'm not going to help fund you because it again, we said it earlier, it takes a village. And also in Hollywood, it takes a village. You'll see multiple studios because they all contributed. They all want a piece, but they all are giving a piece too.
Yeah.
And that also goes with, Chase or other bank, and Hollywood probably has their own even like bank, reservoir. They're I,
Bank of Hollywood.
I'm thinking because I just watched Despicable Me and I was like, they have their own bank of evil. Like you got to like have the right password to get in, but
So
they know how to share that money and move it around. This does not bode well.
it definitely hurts them a little bit in the short term because there's obviously going to be an optimization as you bring these two companies together. You don't need two accounting departments. You don't need two HR departments, et cetera, et cetera. There's redundancies that you will be able to redact and save on your balance sheet. But as you get to that point, your cost of borrowing will go up. That being said, a lot of what has been talked about in terms of, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much more difficult for companies to finance these movies, I don't think that's as much the case. If you look at the way that movies are financed in Hollywood, a lot of the time they seek outside financing. So they will go to Saudi Arabia. They will go to super wealthy billionaires in Texas and they'll say, hey, give us $50 million and we will give you X amount percent, blah, 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 plus this, and this, to introduce all the Hollywood accounting. And you'll make this much money based on our projections. So when they go to those outside funding sources, they don't really have to deal with their junk credit rating and everything like that. So it hurts them a little bit for sure, but I think their economists and the accountants have factored that in to the whole deal. We'll see.
They have one of the things that Paramount has said that Netflix was not going to do was I think they were going to drop, and I was trying to do some quick research, but because I don't remember, I did back in the day, is if you're going to merge Warner Brothers, you're going to merge Paramount / Skydance with Discovery and all these other like companies, these other studios, you're now going to merge them into one studio. You don't need all of these studio heads or even what you said, all of these cross accounting and all that. And Paramount was going to do a pretty big cut. It wasn't clear as the cut was going to come from WB of employees or Paramount or a mix of both, but there was going to be a drastic cut in employment because you're merging two studios, two great studios that have been around for decades and decades. Warner Brothers for god awful long. I would like to actually
really long time.
I like to actually research which one is first: Universal, Paramount, and Warner Brothers. I think those are your big three right now, and I think Warner Brothers might be the one that's been around the longest. But part of their debt load and cutting costs was to lay off a ton of people, Eric. And that's where the Netflix deal for me was going to be more positive because Netflix doesn't have any of those. They don't have other studio directs or
That's very true.
Yeah, it was all going to be brand new for them. So everybody was going to keep their jobs and keep their pay. And then Netflix would just basically, it was an absorption instead of a merger. This is a merger. In mergers, you don't need 2 or 3 CEOs. You don't need 2 or 3 directors. And there there's some rumblings right now. This is really new stuff, but there's rumblings that already WB is like 110 billion. That's a lot of money, and we really like it, and all that. But also seeing then maybe a $60 million cut in staff. That's alleged. That's super alleged. That also still, yeah, that still gets the heart feels if even people who are making $1 million, like, so here's the other thing. WB is, and it's been interesting watching this money war, because finding out watching this, WB has, other than Disney, and Disney because of Lucas, WB has some of the longest running CEOs, CTOs, COOs, directors, like producers in the entire industry. Like, we're talking 30 to 50 years of knowledge of like just what's new, what's old, how's it changed, how's it evolved. So in that scope, WB is like this crazy weird gold mine, not including Harry Potter and, you know, the IP stuff. The top brass of Hollywood are these like knowledge. They're like little encyclopedias that make a shit ton of money. These crazy encyclopedias that have gone on since almost the, the dawn of Hollywood. Not quite then, but like pretty close. So it raises more even with the board of directors within WB of like, what is going to happen if we approve this Paramount thing? Like, Paramount can't be that silly to extinguish some of these people. And believe me, these people would absolutely get another job at Disney or even
Oh,
Netflix.
yeah, 100%.
But does it also, you know, WB has had a name, you know, Looney Tunes and all that, even though, you know, that got a little squashed by current rulership, I guess, whatever you want to say, or management of WB. It's so interesting. This is the most interesting thing I've ever seen of like, you have some of the oldest people in Hollywood. You have some of the most highly rated, regarded people in Hollywood at WB. They have some of the fucking greatest IP. And Paramount might buy them, but it really looks like a buying just to buy when Paramount is already struggling to get so many movies out a year. WB, I think, has them doubled, and Disney has WB doubled as far as movies coming out. And so then Paramount buying WB, are they hoping that those movies will then help them double? But I don't think so, Eric. Like, I don't think this is going to help them at all.
So I'm going to dig a little bit into the user experience between HBO and HBO Max and Paramount
Also,
Plus.
Let's call that out too. HBO in Hollywood is the most highly regarded, I said earlier, so I'm using that term again, but it's the most highly regarded studio for if you want to do movie quality TV shows, though Apple is doing a really good job right now.
Oh, yeah.
But like, HBO has been there for 20 plus years. And so even actors, movie actors, are more than happy or more than willing or more accepting to doing an HBO job, because HBO's studio has the best producers and the best directors, and they don't do anything fluff. Yeah, this is some crazy news in Hollywood. We've been talking about it for weeks, but I think I'm finally telling everybody, like, this is nuts. And
yeah.
this is this is kind of serious in like how it's gonna like change.
So I think this is how I'm looking at it. So if you've been on Paramount Plus, their app is garbage. Their catalog is about as equally garbage. Like I every time my wife and we like click into Paramount and say, "Hey, like, is there anything on here that we want to watch?" There's nothing. It's like there's it's filled with just stuff that no one has any business watching. So I feel like they've noticed that they've lost in terms of the streaming wars. And I think this is a major gamble to try and fuse the catalogs. And when I say fuse, I mean basically just acquire the HBO catalog. Because like the Paramount catalog is, there are some nice gems in there, but
Well, in the WB catalog, like you get Harry Potter, you get DC, you get God. I know I'm totally forgetting something.
I mean, you
But
get
you're
The
getting
Wire, like there's a long tail of HBO like TV franchises that are so good.
Sopranos, Game of Thrones.
True Blood. I mean, like we can just go on for days. Paramount, like,
Right.
they had a hit with that cowboy one, Yellowstone.
Oh, well, it's really good.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it's super recent, but they don't have an
No, they
exhaustive
don't.
back catalog.
No, I would
Which
say
means
that
they
was
don't
their
have an exhaustive back catalog of IP that they can
no.
refresh and build upon. Because I think that's what HBO has. It's like, oh, you want to not start from scratch? Let's take an old IP and just start over. Do a reboot or do a fast forward 20 years, 20, 30, 40 years and create new content. Like they have the underlying architecture to do that. Paramount, not so much. I mean, yeah, they've got Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, but you can't carry a multi-billion-dollar industry on his back.
No. Like I mean, I think we're seeing, especially with this was the last Mission Possible, allegedly, but this seems like the last Mission Possible. So you're not going to get Tom Cruise again. If you do another Top Gun, I don't know at his age and whatever, though he is crazy. I don't think you're going to get him to do another Top Gun. I think he was super happy to do a second one. So I think you're right. Like, I, oh God. I think, oh man, I don't know. I know the Harry Potter TV show, and it is getting like it's being filmed right now from early screenings and whatever. It's looking very positive. Um, you have James Gunn, which is another story within this.
Which we've talked about. I don't think we need to rehash that.
But James Gunn is doing a exceptional job with DC, bringing it back to it has very Suicide Squad and Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy vibes, but like it has a very comic book vibe, and it's really like it's doing really well. Can you keep that hope alive? Because also those people who are running those places can leave. And then can you then keep the IP alive? Is the IP strong enough without the visionary and the executioner?
Yeah. We shall see.
My hope is Netflix gets it. At first, I was like, "Oh, it's so weird, a streaming service company that doesn't produces more," and we've said it in the past, more algorithm. Like they just pump shit out. Like when they do put something out, there's at least 1 to 3 things on their channel, service, whatever, that it's really good. Stranger Things being one of them. And what I said earlier, and I've said in past episodes, like Netflix not having that kind of thing and more just merging it, acquiring it. It's not even merging it, more acquiring to just have a piece of that pie, but let it keep doing its thing. And then we could see some of that as far as maybe we can't afford to go to theaters and all that, and it's here streaming. Like, that's way more positive than, for me, um, than Skydance and Paramount/Paramount, doing what's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. And WB is, in all the things that I've read and watched, WB in California and around the world, like, it has a name that goes beyond even a studio or a movie. Like, seeing that shield with the W and the B brings, it's something that's gone past time.
Multi-generational, I think is.
Maybe even beyond that. Like, there's something about even seeing the Fox Studios that da 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 da, and then Star Wars or whatever, and it got taken away, and they literally put it back because people loved that was the intro before the Star Wars,
Which is
intro
weird
song.
because it's like 20th century, but we're now in the 21st century. It feels a little outdated.
Still worked.
We'll see if we get one, an update.
So, but I think that equates.
Yeah.
So, gosh, as Eric likes to say, to be determined. We'll keep checking on it.
TBD. Yeah. You know what? Gosh, I don't want to interrupt the flow, but something just came across my feed.
Do it.
That
Breaking news.
Do
you have a breaking news like CNN or Fox or?
Oh wait, I have a thing for this.
Yeah, that'll work.
For those not in the know, that was the Metal Gear Solid alert sound.
I mean, you've been seen. Go do something real fast or you're gonna die.
Yeah. So a collaboration between NVIDIA and a company called Topaz Labs. So you should know who NVIDIA is at this point. They're only the biggest freaking company in the world.
Well, and we've just talked about them almost every episode because they just do one major thing after another. Speaking of DoD and DOJ.
Yeah. I'm sure Jensen Huang of NVIDIA is like, we'll sell you chips. You use them however you want.
Yeah, he is that person. Absolutely. He's like, I don't care.
Unrelated to what I'm about to talk about, he did say that the release of OpenClaw could be the most impactful generational release of software we've seen.
Is that okay? So going back, OpenClaw is Anthropic. So he's talking about another company.
No. OpenClaw is the open source thing that I am using. I
hate these people so much. My God, Eric.
I know.
Let's stop. Just pause for a minute. Who owns Claudebot? Claudebot.
OpenClaw.
Who owns OpenClaw?
No one owns OpenClaw. It is.
Oh, it's open source.
It's an open source project. They're
like
standing up a proper 503c open source foundation to govern the ownership of the project. But OpenAI did pay the founder of said project $1 billion to come join them.
Is this a merge or an acquire?
Well, merge and acquire.
Or is this a partnership? No, quote unquote.
This is basically OpenClaw will continue to be an open source project, but the founder will go and work for OpenAI. OpenClaw will continue as is, and it will continue to be a thing.
For right now.
And I will continue to use it.
I did mergers and acquisitions for a while. So I know that usually within the deal, it's within a year.
No, but here's the thing. They've ensured that the OpenClaw open source project will continue to be an open source project. It will be governed by a board separate from OpenAI, zero involvement whatsoever.
For how long?
Safe. For in perpetuity.
How? Oh, okay.
OpenAI, they're not acquiring the project. They're just hiring the person who created it. So anyway, back to what I was getting at originally. Jensen Huang, NVIDIA, blah, blah, blah. there's a new thing that came out called Topaz Neural. So Topaz Labs is a company that has been leveraging uh, kind of like GPUs and AI to do all sorts of really cool things like upresing video imagery or like up video streams and increasing details and everything that you could possibly want in After Effects or video editing. Like they have a plugin that will do that. Like just really magical stuff, and it leverages AI. Well, apparently they partnered with NVIDIA, and they have a way to reduce the VRAM usage of certain projects by 95%.
Holy poop-a-doop. I love you, Susan. Poopy. What? Holy shit.
Yeah. So this is a bit of a game changer because Apple, like everyone was migrating to Apple hardware because, oh my God, they have this unified.
I mean, their
Unified
hardware
RAM.
and their software works so crazy. I mean, we were just talking about it in the last episode. 8 gigs is not a lot, especially nowadays. Like 16 is now the new base, which is why I upped mine to 24. But we know Apple and how we've seen it with their iPhones and iPads and other devices. They can make that 8 gig work crazy good.
Yeah. So this is the other side of it. The other like Windows, Linux side of things. We find ourselves in a weird space now because like I've been pushing my RTX 4090, which has 24 gigs of VRAM. And if you're telling me that I can now run a model, but I need to consume 95% less VRAM, I've been pushing it. Like I've been using Qwen 3.5, 35B or something like that. But now I could potentially run the entire full model on my GPU at the same token input output. Holy moly, this is an absolute game changer. And I've messaged them. I'm like, how do I get access to this? Please give the goods to me. I want to leverage this. What used to be 56 gigs of VRAM is now 2.8. Like just
2.8. I mean, this would be a hurt to Apple. And listen, like Apple creates everything from house, from the aluminum housing that I'm holding right now in my hand to the software to, they've always wanted, and Steve said it way a long time ago, and this is definitely one of the things that Apple, not only Tim Cook, but also the board has, pushed for. That Crossroads, which is a very classic, crazy classic scene during one of the keynotes. And now with them with networking and now with cellular and then doing ARM, like they've done it and under Tim Cook, but it's taken many years. It's not just Tim. It was also Steve and other people. But that this is finally happening to x86. This will
it's not x86 so much as it is NVIDIA's GPU architecture. Like,
I mean, could this benefit Linux or Mac? I guess those are the other two, because you've got 3, right? You've got Mac, Linux, and then you have Windows.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do run a good point. It is mostly the x86 architecture that will benefit from this, and it's mostly the NVIDIA GPUs, which typically get paired with the x86 architecture.
Positive note is that AMD will figure it out, Linux will figure it out, and Apple will figure it out. If not, talking to folks.
I can't even begin to speculate on the trickle-down effects of this and how Topaz Labs might partner with Apple or AMD to...
Listen, look at like everything Apple has done with the iPhone. And every time Apple has done something with the iPhone, Samsung, Huawei, Google has then magically figured it out or done the same suit. And then you even look at some of the OSs, like the trackpad usage that like was standard on a Mac, that 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, 5, that is standard on Windows. A lot of people, for some reason, don't know you can do that on Windows except for me and like a select few other people. But like, so the trickle down effect will absolutely happen. The timing is what I'm curious about.
Right. So there's a lot that goes into this, and I'm just reading the news articles and the headlines. I really want to take some time and dig into what is actually
My,
happening at a technical level, because if Apple is unable to unlock this same performance improvement and run models that are gargantuanly sized compared to their unified RAM, like it is game over for data centers almost.
if Apple, and this is my like speculize whatever, if Apple gets a hold of something like this and they're already running faster on smaller architecture, man, people better keep this secret from Apple.
TBD. I mean, it sounds very hardware specific that it's tied in specifically to NVIDIA GPUs. It can probably be extrapolated to AMD, but I mean, the architecture of Apple is so different. So we'll see. I'll bring an update next week on all my technical investigation.
Yeah, this one's super cool and super neat because it will, I know it's going to have a trickle down. If somebody's doing this and it has that big of an impact of a 90 to 95% decrease, while also all these companies are doing RAM, like, oh, I'm just going to buy it up. Like, yeah, like all these other companies are now probably right now, like trying to figure out who that is, figure out the formula, whatever, and then replicate, if not buy out. Like, this is pretty big deal. Hey, Geekoid, you're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring this home. We got one more topic, I think, and it's I mean, one major topic, few different pieces to it.
I mean, pieces. Yeah, you're right. So
Morsels for consumption.
I was thinking of the people who, listen to us and whatever. They're all hearing the doom and gloom of RAM and storage and it's just everything. GPU now. Like it's just nuts. So how do you like do something fun like gaming, which is part of our podcast and part of our, it's part of our thing. And so I was doing some research and it just dawned on me like we have a pretty competent computer that is so close to us that it's with us almost 24/7. It's with us every day, all night and every day again. And that's our phones. So we've talked about, especially me, like handheld um, smartphone, Android, iPhone games. And so I looked into like what are some cheap accessories that don't break the bank that can help you like play games and kind of get away from work and get away from, whatever, or take a minute for yourself and go delve into just like you would a book or anything else, but be engaged. So I looked up like controller accessories that you can put on an Android or iPhone, and I came up with three major ones. You've got different kinds of controllers which have come out, especially CES. You now have these new clamp controllers. So I'm putting three. You've got telescopic, which you pull apart like an accordion and you attach to either side. Some are Bluetooth, some are USB-C. I chose a Bluetooth one so that it makes it more universal. You could use it with tablets or any phone or whatever. And I chose GameSir. GameSir makes great controllers across the board. Xbox, Nintendo, everything. Similar to like Corsair or Razer or 8-Bit Do. but I chose GameSir, and GameSir has an X5S. That's their Bluetooth version, so it's a little heavier and it costs a little bit more money. However, the buttons are analog instead of digital. Like if you got the Lite, which is a USB-C connected controller, so then it would sap a little bit of energy off of your iPhone. And it's like $50, and it has really great controls. And you could put an iPad Pro in this if you really wanted to get really like uber ridiculous. But you could do that and play Call of Duty or Destiny Rising or Resident Evil, any of these games right now, which I think is super cool. And it doesn't break the bank. You already have this device that I don't think a lot of people are utilizing to play now, as of late 25, early 26, triple A titles that are really good and they run really well. They were optimized for Android and iPhone. Another one is, the one I bought. It's the most expensive. It is the MCon OSnap controller.
How
This
have you been
is-
liking it?
So, okay, well, first, I'm going to say
Okay.
I like it because it's the most versatile controller. It is very slim. It packs away with its handles and all that to the size of a phone. It's a little bit thicker, but like not that much thicker. So like you would carry this stretchy telescopic controller, this is it's a lot smaller. And it has a controller feel to I'm used to 8-bit DOE controllers, like a more minimized controller, but it has like if you could take a PlayStation, not a new one, but like an older one and then something like an 8-bit DOE compact controller and you blend the two together. So like it's small in factor, the joysticks are a little bit small, but they're not as small as 8-bit DOE. Like it has more breadth and more room to breathe. Add to that the 8-bit DOE controllers that I've bought, which I do love, it's one of my favorites. It's the Lite. It's this cute little compact. It's almost like a card size. You could stick in your back pocket. You could sit on it, and I don't think it would break. But it has no joysticks. This has the same feel, but then it has like actual handle grips that you flip down, and that's gorgeous. And the other thing that I love about it is it has this flip up panel that is super versatile to like how big is your phone, Android or, iPhone.
Which
Do you
there
want
are
to
a
play it?
lot of sizes these days.
There's a ton, and you can move this back and forth to fit it nice and, well balanced. You can still put it vertically. It gets a little top heavy, but you could totally do vertically. And the mechanisms inside are all like pro level, like Hall effect and magnetic. They're really, really good controls for something that then when you're done, you can immediately stop the game, put it in your pocket, put it in the other pocket, or throw in a bag or whatever, and then go. And it has a battery life that like lasts like a year. It's kind of fucking sick. It's $150. It's a lot of money. This is my most expensive like recommendation, but I do recommend it. They are going to release, and we've talked about in other podcasts, they're going to release other versions that are smaller, but they're not going to have as many options. And they might feel a little different. This one was built to be not a pro controller, but like it's really pushing it for something this small that I would put in like a contender of like, you're going to carry an Xbox controller or a DualSense controller, or carry this and do what you need to do. And it will play on PlayStation, PC, iPhone, Android, like it plays on everything. Xbox, it's really great. The other thing I like, and I call it this like switchblade, this like Swiss Army knife. You can take that panel off the top and set it down, and if you don't like the weight of it, or you're just in a place where you don't need that weight on the top of the controller, you can take it off, and then it's a stand that still magnetically attaches to your phone, kind of like what I do with the Switch 2. I literally take the 8-inch screen, I put it on the table, and I'll put the 2 Joy-Cons into its little controller dock, and I'll play it that way. And I've been playing Metroid this last week while my wife's been working on a puzzle by Magic Puzzle Company. Also, you guys should totally check that out. Super weird.
We'll give a
and
shout out
super
in
cool.
the show notes for sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I've been playing either the iPhone on the table with the MCon, or I've been playing the Switch in the same idea, in the same manner. I love it so much. $150 is a lot of dough when, like, you could buy a GameSir you could buy this USB-C version for $35. You could buy this Bluetooth one that has better controls for $50. But I like the versatility that it gives me. It's more than just having a Steam Deck-esque or a Switch-esque controller. But I can't, you can't beat $50 for the game.
That's pretty solid.
And the last one is totally different. So if you don't like that Steam Deck or Switch-esque, layout with your iPhone, and you play more older retro emulation from Delta or whatever, your Game Boys, your Game Boy Advance, and whatever. GameSir, soon 8-Bit Do will have one, and we talked about it in one of our paths during CS, but it's not out yet, unfortunately. But GameSir, again, has one they call the Taco. And the Taco is Bluetooth, but it clamps around the bottom half of your Android and iPhone, and it looks just like the bottom half of a Game Boy. And when you play an emulated game from Delta or some of the other places, and you're playing Mario versus Donkey Kong or Metroid Zero or any of those, it has a very Game Boy feel with tactile buttons. Kind of delicious. I kind of want to buy it. Though again,
I like
I don't
that
need
word,
to.
delicious.
It is kind of delicious. Though I could do that with the O Snap, but like the O Snap would have a lot of that heavy weight and on the top because I'm putting it vertical on a controller. But it's like $35. I just went to the website, a few minutes ago. It's $35, minus shipping and tax and whatever. And it looks great. I think it even has buttons on the back, so if you're playing more GBA games or like DS games, like it can accommodate. But it is a super small form factor to play some great games. And remind you that the Game Boy screen, if you choose like, an S Ultra or an iPhone Max, I think both the Ultra and the Max phones are bigger than the original Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. So it will feel small in today's age, but as far as that portability, that ease of use, simple in, out, pause, save, which we now have, thank God. Thank you, emulation.
God.
and yeah, it's like current stuff. These are like 3 really cool options. While we deal with this current data center fiasco bullcrap.
That was really comprehensive. I wish I could comment more, but I don't play a lot of games on mobile devices. I don't play a lot of games in general.
I did choose, for me personally, more Bluetooth so that I'm not taking the iPhone or Android's battery, because games take up, just like MacBook. Like if you're doing normal stuff, yes, this will last 16, 18, 24 hours, whatever. If you're doing video editing and all that, it's more intensive tasks, it will drain this down to like 3 hours. Same for gaming. If you are gaming on your phone, it will not last very long. So I chose devices that were Bluetooth so that it takes some of that brunt off of the phone, and potentially you could also plug it into a charger to just keep playing. You could play for more than 3 hours, 6, 12 hours, depending on your battery bank or your
There
plug-in.
you go. Yeah. So I was going to say that was going to bring us to the end of our episode, but
Pew, pew, pew.
we got some
That's what I'm talking about.
late breaking news.
Again, this is the third one this episode.
I know, it's just getting ridiculous. So the last episode, aka yesterday, I said Microsoft has announced Project Helix, which is the code name for their next Xbox. Apparently, they are doubling down on the console war, which I didn't see coming. But you know what?
I mean,
Asha, the new CEO of Xbox, apparently, I mean, this was decided well before the transition happened.
I did not. You're correct. Like, we've already announced, and so many other people, that like they're going to do this console PC hybrid, and that now, I mean, I think this is marketing. It's just like, yeah, we're still in it. Huh?
Well, here's the thing. It's rumored that it will play Xbox and PC games. So I'm like, so it's just a PC?
Isn't that what a PC console hybrid is?
Yeah. So I think it goes along with everything that we've been speculating around. But
you know what? I did think about this just now. Steam or Valve. I keep saying Steam because it's Steam to me. But Valve is having a hard time figuring out how to launch this new also hybrid console to the market. And they're not as big as Microsoft. So Microsoft having as much money as Apple, if not maybe more, it's in debate. I did not look at how much they're both worth. I don't want to. You get the idea. But this then gives them a foothold on like at least getting some marketing and some PR push towards that to some hype.
I mean, we thought that Steam would be launching the Steam machine right about now in March. And look, I have the marketing website pulled up right now, and it's like, yeah, just stay tuned for more details.
Yeah. But, you know, like, again, it's like, if Valve's going to falter because, and no fault, like, absolutely,
no, not at all.
Like, talk poop all you want about any of these companies. They're all good in their own right. Valve being one of the three that I'm talking about, Apple, Microsoft, and everybody. So, like, beer me, thanks. Live, bitch. So you have an opportunity, dude. If you and I were marketing on this, they were like, we have an opportunity. We have we need to make some positive numbers. It hasn't been great. We don't want to divulge how or why we've dropped certain people. And we now have this new person who, in defense, by the way, she's only been in the AI thing for like 2 years. So it's not like she's like some guru. That was something that we never said. But everybody,
the AI revolution has only been around for 2 years.
Well, that's fine. But I still want to like call it out. There's still people that
I do want to say
who have been like developing it for like 10 years. And so she's like, I'm giving her that benefit of doubt of like, hey, she was just there to do a job, just like she is right now. She is there to do a job.
Do I want someone at the head of what I feel is a creative endeavor to just do a job?
Oh, I love you so much.
Sorry, spicy take.
Listen, man, because I was being the positive one and you just did a Jarrad on me. You did a Jarrad on Jarrad.
I mean, here's the thing. I've been in the industry. I've got tons of friends in the industry, and it's been plagued by layoffs.
I mean, Nintendo changed their board and their presidents. They have the same idea. Dude, is this the golden era is done? Or what my wife likes to say, has the bubble burst? These were all people, and all of these great people who now have gray beards and white hair, and they're like, hey, we need to 30% markup. Like, it changed at Nintendo, it's changing at Microsoft, which then will reverberate across all of their studios.
And you know what? GDC is next week.
This will actually, maybe it'll be interesting. Sony did a really good job, by the way, on theirs. So GDC will be interesting because it'll be more developer, and maybe we'll hear.
We're going to hear a lot more about the future Xbox. That will for sure be probably one of the major talking points.
A lot of people break ranks constantly ever since, like, it's almost like this administration gave free passes to everybody to just say what they want, even though you are under NDA for the next 10 years, even after you were fired or you retired or you quit. And everybody's like, well, he's doing it. Why not me? There's ex-creators of the Xbox that are talking about like Microsoft and Xbox. It's nuts. Listen, we will see. This is my TBD. We will see something, I think, within, we're now in March 6th, almost St. Patty's. God rest your soul. I love you, St. Patty's. And rest in peace, 9 Irish Brothers. We'll see something. Will we see something in 6 months? No, we'll see something in 9 months, but it'll be another PR thing.
Can I just supersede you and say the console launches will happen in 2027?
No console launch. I'm not even talking console launches because we already know at this point, dude, we're talking 2 years, not next year. We'll get hints all next year.
No. I disagree wholeheartedly. I was of the opinion that we wouldn't see a console until 2030.
I don't know about that late.
So, but what I've just been reading on the Sony front is that the cost of delaying a console from their planned 2027 launch until later would cost the company more money than the actual increase in the cost of RAM and storage.
Oh, that's...
Which I didn't think about.
Sorry, Susan. That's fucking interesting. I did not, because I was like, oh, this is totally we can't ship something out if it's going to cost us way more money. However, what you're saying is research, development, probably it even sounds like pre-production.
So you look at the comments that Lisa Su made from AMD, because they're providing the chips for both of these consoles.
That is true, dude.
It is full steam ahead. Headwinds be damned. So we may have a brand new
AMD
Xbox.
Did that to be like, hey, you got a contract with us. You can't. No. We've got chips. You need to get
that's
this
probably
stuff.
what it is. Like, they designed a chip to spec, and they're like, oh, you want to delay it? Well, we're not going to design a new chip for you. It is. Man, this is
cost
really
you more.
complicated.
If we have to store this, it's going to cost you money.
So
then Sony is like, oh, we gotta get this. We gotta get this out.
Man, Sony and Microsoft are just kind of like, oh.
This whole data center thing has just foobarred so many people. So then, what do you think the PS6 is going to cost?
Both the consoles are going to cost between $1,000 and $1,500. That's my prediction. It is not digestible, but you know what? You look at the PS3 launch and.
Well, that was back in the day.
It was difficult to get
lowered
one,
it after that,
and it was being resold for 2-3x what it was. So maybe if the launch is so high, then maybe people just kind of chill the F out about.
So PS3, I think they tried to sell it for $700. And then Xbox came in after, and with the Kinect, they tried to sell it for $6. And then Schiller came in, Phil, and dropped the Kinect. It wasn't working. Nobody was using it. It was costing a lot of money. And then dropped it to 500. And that's when that one pinnacle point, and I'll be honest, like this was the one pinnacle for Xbox. Xbox just dominated. And then it hasn't. It didn't before then, and then it hasn't after then. Sony is talking about doing more of a hybrid, not PC console, but more on the lines of like what they're doing with their little PS, I don't know what they call it, handheld. And
I think they have a lot of opportunity to double down on the Linux platform.
I was not going that direction. I was just going to say Switch.
Here's
I think they're looking at Nintendo and they're like, we could do that.
Here's my take, and this is really, really out there, is Microsoft Windows has been just globbed with so much extra crap.
Copilot.
Not just Copilot.
Really?
It's like, oh, you've exceeded your OneDrive storage. I'm like, how do I turn this notification off? I have no desire to use OneDrive at all. Like, you're just notifications, blah 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 blah. Upsell. Like, just the Linux sounds like a nice peaceful place where I don't get bothered by all this upsell bullshit that Microsoft is trying to sell me. And I'm wondering,
a lot of us like hardcore PC people and hardcore gamers were looking for Valve to do that.
Yeah, and so maybe there's a Valve version of a Linux OS, and maybe there's a Sony version of a Linux OS, or maybe there's just a Linux OS that everybody agrees upon. And you can run your Steam client and your Sony client and your PlayStation client.
I do think of this with Valve. Valve has always been pretty open about like their stuff. They were like back in the day, the first Steam machine that nobody remembers. They were like, it was very, again, like Linux. It was very open source and like, do what you want. Like, we'll create the foundation and you create the architecture around the foundation with, I think they call it the Phantom program that they have, where it can just take x86 and then push it out to ARM-based chips. Also, Apple. I know you won't, but Apple. But this works with Snapdragon and everything else. And Sony's absolutely seeing that potential. Like, I couldn't see a world where Valve goes, oh, you want to pay us money for that? Not DoD. They're like, listen, we have the software. Like, it's gaming. Yeah, like, you want to pay us money? Yeah, like, you totally use it. And then you're just like, hey, make sure you put us in the credits. Yeah, you create something. We talked about it earlier. You create something. Somebody's going to want to figure out how to utilize it, because that's some pretty cool tech.
So I'm we'll see how it goes from here. But honestly, I think Linux might seem like the future, and it's a crazy thought, because Microsoft had such dominance in the PC era. Like almost any device you buy, like laptop, computer, whatever, is Windows. And is there a viable future where you just buy a machine? 'Cause here's the thing: the OEMs and the third-party laptop creators, like, they pay a royalty to Microsoft for every device they sell. And if they don't have to anymore, holy crap.
Oh, so
Mass
you could be
exodus.
saying, like, listen, Valve has something, you pay us money, screw a credit.
No, not even Valve. Like you pay nobody. You're like, I'm going to use Linux, and if you want Steam on Linux, just go download it.
That's crazy.
Open source wins. Free
We've been
software
talking about
wins
secretly between like us for years, but like, do you think that's really possible? I guess with this new day and age, and I'm like, I think this new generation, and they're way more
It's
tech savvy.
mm,
Like it's day and day. They grew up with this. I'm the last generation. They call me a Zennial. I hate it so much. But like I'm in between that X and Z where like I do remember rotary phones and blah blah and beepers and all this crap. But then also remember having to figure out the new stuff and working with it. But then remembering the old stuff and remembering how to do with it. And then I'm the last of like that weird blend between the two where Z is like, I don't know what a rotary phone is. What are you talking about? Get the heck out of here. So we talked about it too. Like
it's crazy.
with politics, like if your software company is going to do something with the government that we don't approve of, we'll just drop you. We'll just drop you like a bad habit and we'll watch your stocks fall. We'll go to somebody else who's not doing that.
So
And
here's
this might be similar, and like x86 is doing, Microsoft and Windows is doing some like what? And more people are moving in a dramatic rate I've never seen ever in all the years to Apple and Mac. And now, as of our last episode, like the amount of people who are going to shift is going to be even more dramatic. And then adding in Linux. Linux has always been something that I thought was like special, unique, and difficult. But Valve, as my example in gaming, is showing something that is special, unique, and not complicated. So why not? I agree with you. And I don't want to say TBD. I hate saying TBD.
No.
But like,
we're not going to say TBD because I have more thoughts on this. The reason Microsoft and Windows has been so successful is because they have a massive marketing engine behind it. Linux is an open source platform. There's an open source foundation behind it, which means their marketing budget is close to nothing. I don't know if it's nothing, but it's probably 1/100th of a percentile of what Microsoft's is. So that's where you come into this weird place where open source Linux might be better for the consumer, but Microsoft can market to the consumers so much better and be like, you really need a Surface laptop.
Well, that's true. So, and you reminded me of something that I did want to say and I forgot about it. And that is Windows was marketed to like, if you have a Google, whatever, laptop, Chromebook, you have an Android, you have Samsung, which goes back to even smartphones and tablets and all that. x86 will work. And then, so it's your now foundation, and then you build the architecture. But each 86 works differently or poorly or okay, ASUS or whatever. Where Mac has always been like, hey, or Apple has always been like, this is ours. It's a walled garden. We
vertical
chose
integration will win every time. That's how it works. They own the stack from the chip to the user experience to the marketing. Lock and load, you can't compete.
Yeah, so like me buying an iPhone, I understand the iPad. And then buying the MacBook, I understand that. And then again, I love how it all just seamlessly, like, doesn't even, like, I don't even understand. They all just work. And it goes, oh, hey, you have a phone call. I'm like, what the hell? Well, like, it just all sees each other where
bring, hey, Jarrad.
Every HP or Dell or Lenovo or Chromebook or whatever, like, it's been different every single time to get even half of the integrations and all that. But x86 has been there for everyone forever. So then the base has always been there.
Yeah.
Linux, gosh, I don't know anything about Linux.
I mean, here's the weird thing. Like, I have my Windows PC running over here. That's home to my Clawbot, and I like you run a Windows server on, or no, sorry, a Linux server on your Windows machine so you can run it. Like I could have gone through the steps of wiping the entire machine and just installing Linux, but that seemed counterproductive to everything I wanted to do. But maybe that was the better choice. And maybe that's the better choice going forward for a lot of consumers. It's just saying, you know what, I'm good with Linux. If I can, because here's the thing, it's about $100 per machine is what Microsoft charges. And so like you think about your MacBook Neo, $699, $599, you chop another $100 for $499.
Yeah.
I mean that's not going to happen with that device because it's freaking amazing and everything is integrated. But all the other OEMs and third party suppliers like Lenovo and Asus and Corsair, they're all paying.
HP, Dell.
Yeah, they're all paying a royalty fee of $100 per computer, and if they could just drop that, man, they would. I'm curious to see who will be the first OEM or first computer manufacturer to sell a Linux laptop or PC. I think it's going to happen this year.
Dude, I'm so excited right now. This is the coolest, like, of all of our episodes, because this is not even like, I mean, it is. It's, I speculate this and I speculate that.
Here's the other thing is that
with
Steam
what's going on right now,
Steam has said they're committing to supporting Linux 100%. NVIDIA is supporting Linux 100%. Like everybody's getting on board. So if you have a computer that runs ARM or x86 and is using an NVIDIA GPU, you're probably going to have a better time using Linux than you will Windows.
Yeah. And what was it for gosh, this is actually similar to when Apple released the ARM. Was it Metal? Metal Effects was their version of like trying to transition x86 and
stuff. Metal Effects is more over the way you program the GPU hardware
and ray tracing and all that kind of stuff. But what was it? Rosetta? Was it Rosetta?
Yeah, Rosetta was a way you would take Intel based programs and run them on Mac hardware.
And that's now starting to go away within 6 years. That's almost done.
Yeah. God.
And so
God
now you have Valve's Phantom, which then allows x86 to run onto ARM. Dude, Eric, this is super neat, man. To talk about
cruft around Microsoft software right now that
it's really bad.
They're making a lot of inroads in certain areas, and they have their hooks and claws into the enterprise, and that will not change anytime soon. But here's the thing. New fast-running companies that are now just getting started. I'll be completely transparent. I filed the articles of incorporation for a new company 2 days ago. Yeah, no, but this one's going to be different. But
am I a part of this?
No, you're not. This is top secret. I might have to cut this out, but here's the thing. We're not going to use Microsoft software. Anyone who is starting a new company is not going to use Microsoft software, and all the old companies will get phased out, and all the new companies will be running on Google Workspace or something else, or Apple. And I would short Microsoft stock. That is not financial advice. I have to make that very clear.
But what we've seen, what we've dealt with over our years and work experiences, and then what we're seeing now, and what we deal with now, and
here's the thing: the
I would love to work within Google Workspace more than Microsoft Teams.
Absolutely. And here's the thing: I don't necessarily think Google Workspace is the solution either. It's a great product. I love using it, but I'm surprised there isn't a open party solution, or that like an open source solution that isn't a competitor. Like, because Google Workspace has a ton of limitations and it's really frustrating at times in certain areas. So we'll see. And like maybe that's an opportunity that we can, I don't know, build. I don't know. We're getting along in the tooth now. We're over 2 hours.
It's really good, especially this last 30, 40 minutes. Like, this was like my dream.
Oh,
This is
so much fun.
This was the best of like, we have enough knowledge and enough experience to then talk about this stuff. Like, and just make people wonder. That's like, we're wondering, make you wonder as well. Like,
and next week we'll come back to you with more details and technical knowledge of what we just talked about.
Hopefully.
I mean, hopefully there won't be more than a day in between episodes, but you know,
well, or this is what I'll say,
bring it to you fresh.
Like, yeah, and we'll bring it back because we talk about previous episodes constantly. So you need, unfortunately, to go, or fortunately, screw you. You know what? go back and follow and listen to those other episodes so that you understand some of this stuff. But like, we're always updating constantly. This is what we do.
Yeah.
So you're ready? Here we go. Bye.
Oh, you're just gonna end it like that. All right. Goodbye. Thank you for
that's like,
I thought you were ending the episode like bye.
No, don't bitch or don't complain. Like, the world revolves, it turns, and at least I and Eric do tell you, like, hey, we did talk about some of this. We'll give you a little recap, but if you want more details or whatever, or shenanigans, go to the other episode. Do I remember the other episode? No. Do I remember we talked about it? Yes. So go listen. There's now 52 episodes. Go check it out. A lot has happened, and it happens every day, every week.
We're trying to stay up to date because, man, this shit's crazy. It changes every week. It's gets into your mind.
Dude, like, we were talking like, oh, episode 50, and we're just going to do something fun, and we were going to do like quizzes on each other and like whatever. And then it didn't happen because Xbox and Sony and AI and whatever.
And I'll be honest.
And then we thought like, oh, this Apple thing, it won't be that big. It'll only be like 4 products and nothing special. And they were all extraordinarily special. Like, especially, I don't know how they did this. Like, oh gosh, man. They did products for right now during this crazy AI data center time. They cemented themselves into this, oh, we're now affordable. Who knew?
Okay, next week,
you guys did.
Next episode, we're going to talk about Apple's master strategy and the way they've pivoted when all the other OEMs, massive suppliers, and everybody else decided to do this massive build out of AI, and they just said, you know, we're going to stay the course. So we're going to leave that as a little teaser for the next episode.
That is funny because I've alluded to that in previous episodes. So I like that so much.
All right. Well, stay tuned. And if you haven't subscribed, check out geekoid.com, GEEQOID.com. And for myself, Eric Westland, you can find me at Eric Westland on Twitter. X.
You can find me maybe on Instagram. Jarrad Shaw, JARRAD. You're welcome, Mom and Dad. Shaw, SHAW. Or there might be a Jarrad.Shaw. I don't remember which one I have. You can find me on YouTube. I haven't put anything up in a while. I left Colorado. It was way cooler to film things. But you can find me on JarradShaw.com or Jarrad Shaw on YouTube.
Yeah. So tune in.
You
Mostly
could probably
just
find me on. You could find me on Facebook too if you really wanted to.
I mean,
You
if
could
you're
probably find
motivated,
me.
you can probably figure it out. I mean, just type
Actually,
in the
I
name.
think it's global. So I am an open book on Facebook. So if you wanted
Oh
to,
gosh.
yeah, that was part of my PR pitch 5 years ago. Like, don't do anything wrong.
And then you started a podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you everybody for tuning in and listening. Love you, Mom. And you know what? We'll see you next week. And I'm sure it's just going to be as spicy as this week because that's where we're at.
It happens. Good God. Can I get a break? I want a break.
I would love a week off. That would be amazing.
I would like trivia. Like that one time I did dumb trivia. I was really hoping for episode 50 and then nope, just stuff keeps coming out.
War with
which I'm
Iran.
excited for. Oh, good on you. Thanks and Tropic for backing out. And they're like,
thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Ciao.
love ya.
End of transmission.